York days at the Comedy Cellar in New York, and because everyone loves bringing up that goddamn table, the table, and it's become this legendary thing. Whenever anyone brings up the old crowd of Colin Quinn and Patrice O'Neill and Greg Giraldo and all these guys, and you obviously, and they think it's still a thing that comics would still sit in a club at a table and talk like you guys did about what's going on in the world, and but you guys took busting balls to a level no one could even deal with now. They'd go home and off themselves. What is this? You're out there. You're in the clubs. What does it look like these days?
Well, first of all, I have to take the table was my idea. I don't know if you know that.
I heard that. I've heard that.
Yeah. And this is how it happened. I was living in L.A. and I moved from L.A. And this is how I know I had the eye of the tiger, as they say, as like a younger comedian. I flew home from L.A. like the night I got back, right? Mm-hmm. I still have my suitcase, suitcase in my hand. Went home for a second, dumped some stuff off, went down to the Comedy Cellar later on, and I get down there, and I had a set. Can you imagine? I actually was on the schedule the night I arrived from LA, which I would never. I would never.
Never.
And people who know me, I wasn't like the fucking hot. Excuse me, I wasn't the hot.
Ding, ding.
Ding, dang, dong.
There's one.
Anyways, so yeah, I get there, get to the Comedy Cellar, and I'm in the Olive Tree Cafe upstairs, and it's packed, and there's nowhere to sit. And I knew Manny because I was playing the club before I moved to LA. And I go, Manny, can't you reserve a table for the comedians? I don't want to stand amongst the people that are going to come downstairs and heckle me or, And Manny was such a great guy. I thought that would just bounce off him, right? I come in the next night, there's a table, with a bunch of 3 signs on it that say reserved for comedians. And in the first few weeks, Manny loved me, And for the first few weeks, customers were still trying to sit back. We'd have to kick them out, They would just ignore the signs and sit at the tables, and would have to go, because it was my idea. I thought it had to be me who said, "Scram, get up, get you and your fat girlfriend out of here." God bless Manny for doing that, and that's how it started. And then Patrice O'Neill, Giraldo. I'm trying to remember some guys that are alive. Norton,
Voss,
Jimmy
Bob
Norton,
Kelly,
and Bob Kelly and Voss and Colin. And yes, we would have at it. And the way, and some nights it got ugly, like Patrice and Giraldo got into it one night. I think Giraldo was a little tipsy, if you could say. He had a few in him. And that Colombian came out and he had a few drinks in him. And yelling. Patrice wasn't even at the table yet. Patrice was leaving and Giraldo said something. And they start yelling at each other. And this isn't a packed restaurant with families. And Patrice is effing this and that, and Giraldo, all this racial crap.
you know what it's like too. It's just like when you watch a Scorsese mob movie, and people go, "Wow, we're just busting balls. It's all right, we're just busting balls." Whenever anyone says that, someone's gonna die. It's never just busting balls. Someone is gonna take it way too far. But that's what made it so funny, man.
You're right, and some people did die, but it wasn't because of violence.
Well, no,
it was other issues.
Yeah.
But,
hey, Nick, could I cut you off real quick? And could you stick around for one more segment because we've got a pretty tight show here, my friend. All right. We'll be right back, of course.
I had no idea that Nick Dipaolo was the one who suggested the Comedy Cellar table. Some interesting stories there about Patrice O'Neill versus Giraldo. I like how Nick called him Colombian. Pretty sure Giraldo was Puerto Rican. So Cumia had on Nick Dipaolo. This is just a phoner. Hopefully next time he has him in studio. So far, so good going with Cumia's WABC show. He's taking a lot more phone calls, which I know Cumia does not like taking phone calls, but the people at WABC probably are like, this is AM radio. You do got to take more phone calls. And now that he has the third hour, it's probably a lot more easy to convince him. I like how Nick Dipaolo swore. They probably bleeped that on regular radio, but they did allow it on the app, which is dope. So no matter what happens on regular radio, apparently if you download the WABC app or listen to it online, the swears and stuff will still get through, which is pretty good. So, but once a month he's gonna have on Jim Norton, and the Opster is doing live streams with Buzzy in Atlanta. I mean, that's gotta suck. Opie's been doing radio since he was 18, and now he's completely out of it. And his former co-host are on actual radio doing a show together, and Opie's just out in the dust. But Cumia's WABC show, I mean, it just keeps getting more successful. You got picked up by even more stations through syndication. So, I mean, the Cumia show just keeps growing and growing. And I wonder if soon he's going to ask for his contract to be renegotiated. He's probably just on a 1-year deal, though, and might actually wait. If it was me and I had that initial success, I would want to renegotiate my contract. But since he enjoys doing it, and like he said that his goal is he wants to interview Trump. Let's keep it real. That's what Cumia wants to do. He wants to interview Trump. And to be honest with you, that is a possibility. I mean, what was it, Sid Rosenberg or somebody on WABC just interviewed Trump. And now that Cumia is going to be the #1 show there, and Trump shouted out the owner of that radio station, there's very, very much a possibility that Cumia could end up interviewing Trump. So, and Cumia's ultimate goal is to go to middays, Monday through Thursday. So, like I said, if that happens, though, I don't think he's going to be uncensored anymore, or at least just probably the one time a week with Gavin. But, I mean, you're still going to get Cumia, though, just on WABC radio if everything goes according to Cumia's plan. And it seems like his plan's happening a lot faster than he anticipated or anybody else with the initial success that he's had. And the fact that he's going to have Jimmy on once a month, that should be extremely fun. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the Anthony Cumia show so far? I think so far so good. I mean, the political stuff I'm not really that much of a fan of, but I'd rather him do it on his WABC radio show where it sort of is meant to be instead of just on censored.tv. Where that's why I like the Opie trashings and the Kevin Brennan and Stuttering John trashings, and he's probably not going to do that on WABC radio. But are you a fan of it? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.